channel, guys, and today we're interviewing Brandon Vu here, a 30k subscriber YouTuber. He does yo-yo videos, and yeah, this is the video. So, question number one. When did you decide to start yo-yoing?
I started yo-yoing in, I think, 2009. And basically because my cousin had a yo-yo on his desk, and I saw that yo-yo had a lot of fun with it, we kind of got competitive about it, and one thing led to another, and we started learning more tricks, going to competitions, and then, yeah, just a lot of practice later, we ended up at I ended up in competitions. He doesn't really play anymore, but that's kind of where we started with the whole yo-yo thing.
Okay. Question 2. How long have you been YouTubing for?
It's been a while. I think I started YouTubing around 2009, 2010. Actually, before that. So around 7 or 8, I was doing like just animations, pivot animation videos, and we were making animations there, and we were kind of just making little stories behind them. I eventually stopped doing that and created a yo-yo channel, and that kind of sat on its own for a while. And then I decided I want to make yo-yo videos where I talk about yo-yoing, I want to demonstrate how yo-yos work, I want to demonstrate and teach how people do yo-yo, and then that's really how the channel you guys kind of see today evolved. So I started in around 2009.
Were you initially very popular?
No. The reason I'm so pumped for you guys right now is because it started exactly like this. It started with me in my garage, with the phone, and just doing things like this. That looks very cringy, that looks very, like, in the beginning, very scrappy, but this is how it begins.
That's the cringy, buddy.
Huh?
Question 3. Who influenced you to become a YouTuber? Or was it just a decision you made on your own?
That's a good question, actually. It's a very good question.
There's
a guy named... Do you know a guy named Durian Rider?
Yeah.
He's a bit of a weirdo. He's a bit of a basket case. But he's a vegan cyclist. And he's not a super big YouTuber. He's probably got about, I think, 200,000 subscribers.
Not super big?
Well, you know, compared to like the Ryan Higas or the PewDiePies, right? They have like 50 million. But I think what did it for me was that he made videos that were like really, really low budget. He'd film stuff with his like phone, and all he did was just kind of convey what he wanted to convey, and he got a lot of traction. So it's just as long as like what you're saying is good, the editing, the equipment, the camera, the setup, it doesn't really matter. You just have to be authentic and know what you're talking about. So Durian Rider was the person who kind of got me into the YouTube thing.
Question 4. What was your reaction when you got 100 subscribers? Sorry, 1,000 subscribers?
Ooh. I think the first time I got 1,000 subscribers was on that pivot animation channel that I mentioned. And that felt great. I was like, yes! From 2 views, we got to 3 views. From 3 views, we got to 50 views. From 50 views, we got to 100 views. And then once it got to like 100 views, the subscriber count went from 32 to 40 to 50 to 100, and then from 100 to 200, then to 1,000. So that felt good. That felt really, really good. It was that moment where you're like, okay, I've been consistently posting and people are watching now. People that aren't my friends or people that aren't my family. Yeah. That felt really good.
People who aren't watching the videos because they know you. People are watching the videos because they genuinely like you.
Yeah. Yeah, not like a pity view that's like, oh, that's cool, darling, or, you know, yeah.
Question 5. Were there any challenges in your progression as a YouTuber?
Yeah. There were a few challenges kind of here and there. Nothing major, but I think the main thing is just consistently posting. Like, doing that is pretty difficult because, I don't know, it looks kind of lame sometimes, or it doesn't look as glamorous as you might think, but I think the main thing, and this is probably the most important thing on like YouTube or Instagram or anything, is just keep posting. Keep posting, keep making the next video better. Keep doing it. Even if it looks lame, even if it's getting no views, even if you're embarrassed about it, just keep posting. Make the video better each time.
Thanks. And question 6 was, what advice can you give us? But you've practically done that one. So, we're going to be swapping interviewers now. Our friend Josh will be coming in. So, Brandon, how often do
you post?
Back when I was really into it, probably like it was never super consistent, which do as I say, not as I do. I think a consistent posting schedule would really kind of make things grow a lot faster, but I would post around like once every 1 to 2 weeks back then. These days it's like once a month. It's like very rare. Because I'm doing other stuff now, I'm working, I'm doing, slightly more adult things, but I think, yeah, generally now once a month, but back then was like once every 1 to 2 weeks.
Who taught you to be a YouTuber, or did you teach yourself?
That's a really good question. I don't think you get taught how to be a YouTuber. I think what you do is you go onto the first step is you go onto the platform, right? You go onto YouTube, you go onto TikTok, you go onto Instagram, and you watch. And you're like, okay, who's really interesting to me right now? Who do I love to watch? Do I like to watch PewDiePie? Do I like to watch KSI? Do I like to watch Logan Paul? Durian Rider? Whatever. And you kind of just look at their style. And then you're like, okay, I really like that. It's entertaining because of this. It's entertaining because of how funny he is, or the jokes he makes, or the way the cameras are shot. And then once you kind of figure out what you like, you then figure out, okay, what's something I like? What's a topic I like? Basketball. And how can I make something about, I don't know, basketball that's really interesting, really engaging, and just really fun to make? And then just keep doing it and keep iterating it. That's kind of how you learn to be a YouTuber. You don't learn. There's no tutor for how to be a YouTuber. It's just you go on the thing, experiment, and keep going, and just learn as you go.
Did you teach yourself how to be a yo-yoer?
Yes, I crunched out YouTube videos and YouTube tutorials. YoYoExpert.com, and I think YoTricks.com is another great thing.
I don't know if this is rude, but have you made any money from YouTube?
Yes. I'm not sure if there's like some clause in YouTube that doesn't allow you to say it, but I'll tell you guys anyway. It's not that much. So back when I was very posting every single day, I would get a check for I don't know, $200 a month, $200 to $300 a month.
That's good.
Then.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Well, I mean, when you're
How
11,
many subs?
I would have had 10, 20,000 around that point. So it was a very small sum that kind of came in each month. And when I was in high school, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. It comes in every month. But if you get a part-time job at Macca's, you'll make a lot more. But what I would take away from it is you learn a lot kind of being in front of camera. You learn a lot being behind the camera. You learn a lot trying to edit videos, even if it's on iMovie. You learn a lot doing these things. So I'd implore you guys to keep on the track. Yeah.
Question 10. Do you have another job besides YouTube?
Yes, I do. So I work at Nestle. You know, the guys that do Milo, Kit Kat, and all that. So I work there, and I'm in their
Kit Kat's the
e-com
best.
department.
Do you get free Milo? Because I love Milo.
I get it discounted.
Okay.
And actually, here's a important kind of caveat to, or not caveat, but an extension to this. So I did an accounting degree at Commerce at USyd, so University of Sydney. And when I went to Nestle, I didn't talk anything about the university degree. I was literally like, yeah, I make videos, I did X, Y, Z, I have X amount of subscribers, and that's how I got the job. So, yeah, not everything's about 100% education. Sometimes you need to do things against the grain.
What editing software do you use?
Cool, so when I first started, what I used was Windows Movie Maker. And that's a free software. And really all you need when you first start out is something that can cut clips together and maybe basic titles here and there and another track for music if you want it. So that's what I used way back when. These days I use Adobe Premiere Pro, and I've got a CC kind of license that allows me to use all the different Adobe creative tools. So Nick, my quote-unquote editor, he uses Adobe After Effects, which is also a really kind of powerful software. I just use Premiere Pro.
Okay. Did you go for Logan Paul or KSI in the fight?
I don't know much about the fight, so I only kind of looked at it briefly on Snapchat, but I was going for Logan Paul.
Dude, KSI! Logan Paul all the way, boys.
Can you show us some tricks with the yo-yo?
Sure.
Alright.
Alright, let's do this.
have to get
Your arms alright?
Yeah.
He is the second best yo-yoer in the world.
In Australia.
In
Unfortunately, we're second right now. This is a trick with Gary
He used to be
Lucians.
first, but now he's second. Are you sure not in the world? You look really good.
Well,
Oh,
Whoa.
boom.
okay.
Sweet.
So you briefly told us that you're making yo-yos.
Yes, that's an interesting question. So, in the yo-yo community, it's pretty easy to make yo-yos. So what we do is, this is one of our own designs, and basically, you draw it up on CAD, and then you get it manufactured in China, and then you get it here, you test it out, and you basically just try it out and tweak it a little bit, and that's how you make yo-yos. So
Did you?
there's-
Can I tell something? Did you used to be really bad? Because I'm terrible with the yo-yos. Were you? So
Yeah, everyone starts off bad, dude. Everyone starts off.
Look at that
Bad at
yo-yo.
Is that the
Wait.
yo-yo you use in competitions?
No, this wasn't. I used. There used to be another Australian brand called Word, and I use a yo-yo very similar to this called the Irony JP. So that's what I used to use.
Thank you for watching. Please sub. And a big thank you to Brandon View.
yeah, sub to
Thanks.
Brandon Vu's channel. It's really good.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
And a big shout out to Harrison for filming the whole thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.